Hello, beautiful! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. As always, it is so wonderful to be in your presence and your radiance today. Thank you for being here. I honor you and your time so deeply. Thank you for wanting to just check in on who I am and what has been my journey. I planned to do this video a few months ago, and since then I've taken a little bit of a break. So I asked all of you, what questions do you have for me? Anything based on my journey or anything at all? So I have a list of questions here on my phone that I'm going to be reading from, and let's just get into it. Were you already aware as a child of the special time in which we live? No, I wasn't. I was a very old soul when I was younger. My parents even called me that too. They called me a little quiet giant, and I was definitely different as a baby. I didn't necessarily know why, for any reason, why I had the level of awareness that I had. I just was a really quiet child, and I thought a lot about things and things that others would not think as normal in the past, but that are now just, information that we really have access to, which is super cool. What led you to do the work that you do? Who was younger Aria before Spiritual Queen? Well, first of all, thank you. What led me to do the work that I do? So much of it in the very beginning was seeing how much of a beautiful and positive change that I was creating in my own life, in my own mind, and so much of it was like internal. I was feeling so much more love for myself. I was feeling just a lot lighter. I used to feel very sad and just very anxious. I didn't have a lot of energy. I didn't have a lot of patience. I wasn't the kindest to myself or my family at times. And yeah, it just didn't feel good. So eventually I really shifted what was happening in my mind, and my yoga practice really helped me in finding that space of meditation to really see what was going on and what I got to change. So after that experience, I started to see my mind was expanded. My consciousness felt so much more expanded to start to see how much disillusion was happening, how much confusion was going on, and this lost sense of feeling of needing things to be a certain way in order to be happy and loved. And yeah, so much of my experience really led me to try and help others that may have been going through the very similar thing, where they weren't super loving to themselves or where they didn't feel like they belonged. And, just recognizing that there is magic in this world, in the norm, as we call it. Our life didn't have to be just one task at a time or routine or anything like that. It could actually offer a sense of aliveness like it's meant to, a sense of excitement, a sense of joy, and just a spark of life. So yeah, I just really felt called to share that message with people through practices of yoga and meditation. And now obviously I'm sitting down, I'm channeling and doing all of these other things. So it's led to many other things. But my younger self, because I know that the question was asking a bit about who was younger Aria before who I am today. And younger Aria, she loved being outside. I absolutely loved being outside because I felt so accepted. I felt like I could be myself. It was so exciting to just like bring my dolls or my Barbies and just like play outside and have adventures. Or I would like to make little homes for the roly-polies, like as we called them. I loved the bugs, loved the soil, all of it. The water, just creating slides with the hose and everything. So I loved playing, and that's mainly what I wanted to do. I'd play a lot. I was very quiet. I kept to myself. I suppressed a lot of emotions and what I was feeling and what I was thinking so that I could belong, as I was really comparing myself to my sister and their relationship with my parents. And that was the whole dynamic growing up. So younger Aria was very much a magical little being. However, she hid so much. She hid most everything from the world, from herself eventually, and especially from her parents and her family, and just really started to see the world from a darker point of view as she got older. So that was me when I was younger. That's like younger. Into my teens, I was the teenager that had the dark humor and just like didn't care about anything, didn't have patience for a really long time. I was just like super frustrated, and I think a lot of it had to do with a lack of alignment, so a lack of actually doing and saying what was actually true to me. I grew up just like not knowing who I was. Like I had suppressed so much that I just didn't know why I was feeling what I was feeling. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't even know what, like the simplest things, and it would get to me and get to me and get to me. So there was a lot within my life that just like led me to just like total lost, confused state of being of who I actually am. So it almost became so important for me to figure out, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? And at some point, when I had found yoga, or when I had found dance, I had a surgery because I had a hairline fracture in my hip, yada, yada, yada. That happened. I was only supposed to be out for a few months, but the surgery was just a lot more extensive than they actually told us it was. And yeah, I've been feeling the effects of that surgery ever since. And yeah, I couldn't dance or do anything for a year, and that's what led me to writing. That's what led me to yoga and meditation, just a new form of expression that wasn't tied necessarily to my family. My family grew up, very theatrical. I would do theater, and we would do everything together. They had dance teams. My parents were entrepreneurs, owned their own businesses, and we were always really involved for most of our lives. And yeah, it was nice to find something that felt like me, but I had to be really careful not to associate it with like, okay, this is my purpose, this is what I'm meant to do and everything, because then when this is what my mind thought, if I'm not able to do it, then what? So I really learned to detach my sense of worth and belongingness to the world and humanity with that purpose or that sense of doing, that career, that job and everything. So being able to detach that has brought me so much more freedom, and to really just focus on, what brings me joy and what I feel called to share, and just being able to hold space and connect and community and expand in any way so that I can serve for the earth and for the people that live on it and that are around. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you. But this leads into the next question. What made you step toward serving the other or serving others? And I think it comes back to my whole experience once again, and just like this consistent need that I see within the earth for us to begin rekindling our relationship to her, to Mother Earth, to the elements, to our natural way of being, to the purity within our hearts, to this pure source energy that's within us, for allowing us to remember that, and just to really empower people to really listen to themselves again. We have so much information, and it's so wonderful. And there's so much work that we don't need to do within ourselves necessarily, that we think, because we have Google, because we have answers from other people that have done it. And this is wonderful because it gives us an idea and gives us more knowledge on like the specifics of how certain practices and things within our lives, herbs, whatever it may be, can and could affect us, but it also takes us away from our intuition and being able to learn how things actually affect us personally. We're also unique. So this is a big mission, and I feel called again and again and again, even the moments that I stop to like take moments of being in my own process and learning and everything. All of it comes home to this desire to embody someone who is deeply in connection to her intuition and the earth and humanity, and just being able to really come home to this love that is so much more, like being able to liberate the love inside of us to begin pouring into all aspects of ourselves and into our life. And it can look like so many different things, and this is really what brings me to continue to serve. And it's a constant it's a constant thing that I feel called to do again and again and again, in whatever way that it comes. That's really what makes me step towards serving more and more people, is to remember that, like, okay, like I've spoken to the earth, I've spoken to my soul, and I've been in very many instances and occasions and meditations and moments where I've just received this information that I meant to hold space in certain ways. And this is how I create all of my offerings, is from this space of knowingness, of wisdom, to just bring forth the medicine I know that I can hold space for and assist people in working with. So yeah, this is what really brings me to more service, and hopefully all that made sense. It was a lot of words, and I feel like I try to explain things in different ways so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, there's that. Another question that I've gotten a lot, that I just want to point in here, asking if I've done any type of psychedelics or worked with any plant medicines, such as like ayahuasca or marijuana or anything like that. And the answer is no. I've only had a couple ceremonies. I've worked with wachuma before. I've worked with changa before, but I haven't yet worked with ayahuasca. Ayahuasca does call to me, and it has called to me in the past. I'm really, really grateful that I'm where I'm at today, so that I'm working with plants in a way that I can really connect with them and have more respect and honor of the spirit of the plant and the herbs themselves as I work with more plant medicines. A lot of what has come through me has been in my own experiences, whether through channeling or meditation or just sitting and being in the space. So I haven't really had a lot of assistance outwardly from a lot of plant medicines until today, now that I'm working more with different herbs with my body and beginning to be more of an ally to these herbs, as they are an ally to me in my womb healing and the healing of my body and my nerves, like just my entire being in my life. It's been really beautiful, but yeah, there's that. Another thing that I get asked a lot is for book recommendations, and I will let you know that, especially at the beginning of my journey, I did not like reading books. That being said, up into my journey, besides the books that I read for my yoga teacher trainings, which were really nice books, and I really enjoyed them and I learned a lot, were none. I didn't read any like self-help books or anything like that to gain any of the knowledge that I do have. A lot of it was just doing practices on YouTube and just like looking up things that I really felt called to like look more into and just seeing what resonates. I loved getting a lot of different perspectives, which is why I love YouTube, because you can go and get so many different perspectives and have a lot more of an open, curious mind about things sometimes. So yeah, I have a few book recommendations. I am going to grab them now to just share with you guys, because I've been reading more, but I'm not one to read all of one book. I've been working on that. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any book recommendations that you want to offer. I know there are so many incredible books, but right now there's only been a couple that really have taught me something, rather than have just kind of felt like maybe a lot of people online regurgitate things from books. So I didn't resonate with a lot of books. But here we go. After much looking around the books, there's a few I haven't finished, so I don't feel called to really recommend them. But in general, I love this book. This book was just super sweet. It's called The Great Mother Bible by Mare Cromwell. And I haven't read any of her other books, but she works with Mother Earth and the Divine Mother, and just really has a conversation with Mother Earth and our Divine Mother. The Divine Mother is like the more feminine aspect of God or source consciousness. This is a really sweet book and just something I loved just opening up and reading a bit. It was really beautiful reminders within it. This book, The Call of the Wild, How We Heal Trauma, Awaken Our Own Power and Use It for Good by Kimberly Ann Johnson. This is a wonderful book. I love this book because Kimberly Ann Johnson puts things very clearly stated in here and has a lot of practices for actually being able to work with your body, to do it in a way that's more integrated into our day-to-day lives. This has been a huge help and something that I consistently share with other people. There's a few other books that I'm just going to put in the description box below if you're curious. I am in my reading era of books, and yeah, I'm excited to read more and be able to share more about what has been just really beautiful. But for now, that's all I got. What do you do to make your inner child truly happy? Okay, my inner child loves the sand, loves the beach. If I'm unable to actually go out to the beach and be in the sand, then we'll kind of do it within meditation, and I'll be with her and we'll like play and things like that. She also loves being able to have a lot of alone time, and so I just ensure that we like go out to nature spots alone, get to play video games. Video games is one thing, or just being able to choosing different options of what to do in the day. I've been really grateful to have a lot more space to focus on my mission and just being able to share here online and to curate some things that I feel called to curate for everyone. It's been really healing for my inner child to see like this level of like, okay, what are we gonna play with today? Having the freedom of play, just ensuring that I'm checking in and just allowing her to play and just like being with her, holding her, and just really noticing like if there's any fears that arise within my life as I continue to do what I love to do. Because it happens. It really does happen. What is the most embarrassing thing you've done or experienced? Okay, so I have been sitting with this question and I have not been able to think of like one embarrassing moment. I feel like I've had so many like smaller moments of embarrassment, especially when I was younger, like teenager and younger, until I was really young, because everything seemed to like embarrass me. I wouldn't be the best sport about it either. If something embarrassed me, I would just kind of like close off and just like pretend it didn't happen, or just like try to hurry out of a situation. So I can't think of like one specific thing, but something that did come up when I first had read this question was not knowing what I'm talking about. It's like going up in front of people and not knowing what I'm talking about, or being in conversations with like groups of friends or people, even if I don't know them, and not knowing what I'm talking about. I think those are my most embarrassing moments, was like people wanting me to clarify, or people wanting me to, or just people asking me questions about what have you, and me being like, oh, I don't know. And I feel like, you know, let me know if you relate to that. But in the past, I used to just kind of like regurgitate information that I'd heard, and I'm like, okay, yeah, make me feel smart and stuff like that. But it's like, no, did you do the research? Do you actually know what you're talking about? And that was really embarrassing for me to see, which made me like stop doing that completely. I think that was like I don't even know, maybe early 20s. And even like to this day, like I had so many of those tiny moments that even to this day, even though like I am fully open to saying I don't know, or, you know, like I want to know and this is what I think it is, and not necessarily needing to be sure of myself or having it relate to who I am or my worth or what have you. There's a little tiny itty bitty bit of that. So this is an interesting question to come across, because there's just so many moments that are in that filing cabinet of being embarrassed, of not knowing what I'm talking about, and coming back to those stories of being like you're stupid and you don't know and you can't retain information. These have been like total stories, and also more ancestral things that I've seen within my process. Dang, we're getting deep. We're getting intimate with all of this, so now y'all know. But that's definitely something that like I've been working through. I don't have like one story that's a lot, because I kept myself really sheltered, and I was also pretty sheltered. So nothing too crazy there. What was your scariest and most amazing spiritual experience? So the scariest would really be the experiences where I felt I didn't have a level of control over my body, and I feel like I held a lot of fear around that, and I still hold a little bit of fear around like not having full control of my body. So I would have experiences in meditation where I literally it was like involuntary. I'd feel vertigo sometimes, felt called to like do certain things. And oftentimes I would just really allow it to happen. But there's sometimes when you can feel almost like a sense of it being too much. And I feel like us as humans, we do this. We're like, it's too much, tone it down. So maybe those, I would say, are like more of the scary experiences, because you're like, okay, how much more can I handle? How much more energy? How much more of this movement? How much more of this? Like, will it ever end? And the mind starts asking. I've had experiences where I've gone past that, and it's okay, and it does pass. However, in the moments that I didn't, necessarily feel like I could keep going, those were the more scary experiences, but they were also really incredible and absolutely amazing, because I was experiencing like just so much. It was like really working with beings and energies. So just really, really powerful work in those meditations, in the spaces where I would just like lay down and like call upon my guides and really work with my star families and just like be in a whole nother world. And it's like something you cannot explain, like these experiences that we have where we actually sense and feel, and sometimes can even see these beings and be able to hear them and communicate. It's super powerful. I've had a lot of scarier experiences that weren't necessarily, I would call, amazing. I used to see a lot of like dark figures and shadow people, and those I saw since I was really young. I had long periods where I didn't see them, and then I had long periods where I did see them, and I felt really watched. And I've had experiences of beings like watching me while I sleep and like feeling so uneasy. I did not like those. Those were my more scarier experiences, was like actually seeing things, feeling super unsafe and not knowing what to do, and like having that freeze response is normally what happens with me in like those more scary spiritual experiences. Like I freeze. So I notice when that happens, and nowadays I feel so much more able to communicate and to set my space, and when I say communicate, like actually communicate with these beings, communicate with myself and hold myself, and also just really set the space and recognize, like that I am safe and it is okay, and I am in control of my body, and really learning to more intuitively understand what's happening. But yeah, I feel so much more able to do that, and I'm able to do this for other people as well, just like really working with those seemingly darker entities that are really just manifestations of different types of energies that need just a sense of like moving on, and just whatever manifests as well within like dream states. So yeah, there's been some gnarly experiences. However, I've always been safe, and they've taught me so much, and I'm just really happy to have had those experiences and to be able to recognize, the way that I reacted to certain things before in relation to now, and just like seeing the overall thought fields and energy fields that are around these types of experiences that feel more scary or amazing spiritual experiences, and what makes them any different. So thank you for that question. How did you react the first time you channeled an ET being? So extraterrestrial, I'll call them cosmic beings or galactic beings. The first time that I really connected was actually with light language. This was really beautiful. It was with the Lyrans actually, and the Arcturians and angels. Like I've had a few different like first experiences with them. I was just really open and just curious. I was the person that, as I was learning to channel more, that wanted to see. I'm like, show me who you are, this and this and this, like tell me who you are. At the time, I was really developing my clairsentience and, my inner knowing, and my ability to be able to listen and hear and feel, rather than just seeing everything. It'd be so easy if we could just see everything. That's what we are almost conditioned to look into, is like, if you can't see it, then how are you to believe it? Really just tuning into and fine-tuning those other senses was what I was really working on. So when I was able to contact and have a sense of what was actually happening and the communication that was happening, I was just like really curious and open, really. What are your values and have they evolved? My core values. My core values are truly love, like really leading with love and compassion, allowing myself to be embodied and grounded. Another core value that I have is connection with others in community, and just openness. Openness is really important to me. Integrity, honesty is super important to me, and the ability to observe is super important as well. Also, honoring all parts of myself and others. Honor is huge, huge, huge. So these values have evolved. There's a practice that I do in most of my courses where we actually tune into these values, and we even create like a tree and all of these things. So I've been doing them each time that I'm holding space and really tuning into the values, and I do see that they shift and change, and they actually become more and more pinpointed into these overall words. Now I'm able to understand what each of them actually mean to me. So it's been lovely to see that evolution. All right, y'all, so that is the video. Thank you for taking all this time. I hope you had some tea or something yummy to listen to this video. Let me know in the comments down below if anything resonates, if you want to reflect upon anything, if you have more questions, follow-up questions. I would love to answer them, and I'd love for us to have more of a conversation in the comment section below. If you like the video, please do like the video. If you're not subscribed and you're hanging out and you've watched my whole long video about my journey, subscribe, become a part of the family, be a sunbeam if you'd like. I do lives every single month, and we have a soul circle every month within our members only section of this YouTube channel. So if you'd like to hang out there, definitely come hang out, meditate with us, chat with us, channel with us. We do all of those things. If you'd like to stay up to date with everything, hop on my love letter list. I send a love letter at least once or twice a month, just with updates and reflections and reminders and anything that kind of wants to come through for that month. It's such a beautiful, loving, safe space to share as well. And my website's down there as well if you're interested in working with me in any way, shape, or form, or just seeing what community events we have going on. I send you all so much love. That's all the talking for me today. And yeah, I hope to see you in another video.